Hi Jacobs Well, I'm Greg Meyer, and I want to thank you for watching this video today. You may be wondering why we didn't have church this week, and instead we're out cheering the runners at the Twin Cities Marathon. Well, basically it's like this. We never have church. We are a church. We don't have a church. So there was nothing different this week. It's kind of nice being a people, not a place, because then you aren't stuck somewhere when you're pretty sure that God is showing up in a different place. And that's a pretty good way to be Jacobs Well. You know, and this week we were at church at the Twin Cities Marathon. And just between you and me, that's not only a pretty good idea for who we could be and how we should be for our Sunday gatherings, but it's not a bad idea for our lives as well. Just thinking. And there's not only one place to be church. I mean, there's more than one way to do what churches do. There's nothing wrong with all gathering in a room and singing some songs and saying some prayers and hearing something from the Bible and hearing a sermon. But that's not the only way to do it. This week, being at the marathon seemed to be the way to do it. And if you were there, either cheering or actually running yourself, I think you probably felt that. There were some amazing things going on. I mean, first of all, if you were cheering, you saw this sea of over 12,000 runners going by. I mean, it was incredible. If you think about that, 12,000 people doing 26.2 miles, do the math real quickly in your head, that's over 12 times around the world at the equator. That is mind-boggling. It's amazing when our grit all works together in one direction, you know, in a concerted way like this. Incredible things can happen. And while you watched a sea of runners of every size, shape, ability, and aspiration go by, you were also part of an enormous ocean of encouragers. Over 300,000 of us were out here encouraging all these people as they went on. I mean, that's like half the population of states like Wyoming or Vermont or North Dakota, all doing one thing: encouraging, supporting these people as they went about one of the gutsier goals that human beings ever try to do: run a marathon, and then get inspired by it at the very same time. No, we didn't take a day off from church. We were with just church in a pretty different way. We were listening to God speak, and we're a part of what God was doing in a very special way this Sunday. And while we watched all those runners go by, another amazing thing was happening. You probably saw a lot of people with Team World Vision jerseys on as they were going by you. Well, those people, 11 of them from Jacobs Well, were together. And remember, a lot of these people are totally new to distance running. Some of them are new to running at all. But those people together are raising about $450,000 for water projects through World Vision in Africa. That translates into enough clean, safe water for over 9,000 people for life. That's incredible. Think about that. People whose lives have been compromised to this point so that their children didn't have enough time and energy away from just getting water in order to get educated, or for their parents to be able to be productive and to find a job or do any kind of work that was going to sustain their families, or for them just to even be able to raise their families safely because they didn't have the safe and clean water. They now suddenly have a new chance. You know, we hear Jesus say, "I am the water of life," and we take it as a nice metaphor. But there are people who understood what he really meant. Those 9,000 people, they're going to get it because they had shriveled lives to this point that now have the opportunity to have a new chance at life, a new shot at life. And it happens because some people decided to take on this challenge of running a marathon, because others of us were supporting them, and because we donated to support this cause that they were about. It seems that a lot of life is kind of like a marathon. I mean, it's hard, but it really matters. And it makes a lot of sense for us to connect this stuff, these challenges that we have in our daily life, with the vision that God would try to lead us to of a much deeper and a fuller sense of life. Life is too hard to do it on your own, and it matters too much. It's too full of potential to take the low road through it. So for the next 4 weeks with Jacobs Well, we're going to be looking at another unresolved but really important issue. We're going to be talking about guys. And this isn't going to be only for guys. This is only for guys and for people who happen to have guys in the world. And I think that probably covers the vast majority of us. Contrary to popular belief, the hardest part about being a guy isn't knowing how to play a video game, watch TV, and drink beer all at the same time. Now, the reason that that couch potato guy that we have that stereotype is maybe that way is that he's stuck there because he hasn't the foggiest idea of what it means to be a man in this world where the messages and the demands are so ever present and so confusing. And face it, get stuck there because it's easier to opt out than to figure it out. And church really hasn't been all that helpful either. I mean, it's told us to bury a lot of the instincts that are deep within us, instincts that I assume God has put in us for a reason, and told us basically to be nice and sit still. I mean, no wonder so few people are interested. So I think it's well past time for us to put aside some of those caricatures that the media, society, and the church have given us that just plain aren't helpful, and to take a real careful look at what is in the heart of men. So be Jacob's Wall. Take on the tough stuff this week, enjoy and celebrate the great stuff, and be a part of the really important stuff. And we'll see you next week as we are Jacob's Wall together.